What do you see ahead for growth and inflation and unemployment?
Well, and because we were seeing it here and in a number of other states, it's still our view that we'll contract for the year at about 4.5% to 5%. It has been our view after a very sharp decline in the second quarter. We'd have very healthy rebound in the third and the fourth quarter. I think that rebound is more muted in the United States now. And it's caused me to think that the unemployment rate, if we don't do a better job managing the virus, the unemployment rate is likely to be above 9%, between 9 and 10%. So we've moved up our unemployment forecast. And so I think we've got a rebound, but it's much more muted than it was. And if we don't do a better job managing the virus, we're going to have lower growth and we're going to have a higher unemployment rate. And so I've been spending a lot of my time talking more about the virus than anything else because it's so critical to the recovery.
Well, the $600 extra unemployment bonus and eviction moratorium, they're gone now. First, has your staff modeled the impact of that on the economy? And second, should we expect a wave of defaults that might affect credit markets?
We have looked at it. And one of the things that's unusual about this downturn that we've just had is incomes have stayed relatively solid, and a big part of the reason is these unemployment benefits. And so we're normally in a downturn, you see a drop in incomes. We haven't seen that here. It's still my view that in some form we'll get an extension of unemployment benefits. So I'm quite hopeful that that will continue. But if it didn't, you would see a further weakening in the economy, and in particular because consumers wouldn't have as much money in their pocket to spend.
Any business people telling you that $600 bonus was keeping people from coming back to the labor force?
A lot of business people were telling me that, honestly. They were telling me that it was challenging to hire people. We've looked at a number of studies. We've done our own work. We don't see it as much in the data, but I can tell you I'm hearing it from business people. And so whatever the right answer is, I think you still are going to need to see extension of unemployment. It may be restructured to some extent from the $600, but I think it's important that we see an extension of it. And I think the increased incomes, while it may have made it hard for certain individual businesses to hire, it's helped create jobs because it's helped bolster consumer spending. So the net effect still has probably been positive for the economy and for employment.
A number of your colleagues, well, at least a number of epidemiologists joined by your colleague, Neil Kashkari of Minneapolis, say that we need another nationwide lockdown for about 4 weeks to defeat the virus, and that should be job one over reopening the economy. What do you think of that?
I probably have a somewhat different view based on my conversations, again, with epidemiologists locally and through the country, in that the epidemiologists I've spoken with, which has been widespread conversations, believe we could manage this economy and the virus and have the economy open if all of us wore masks. That's first and foremost, and then we need a good testing and contact tracing regime. But in particular, if we all wore masks, they believe it would substantially mute the transmission of the virus, and you would not need to do a widespread lockdown. And in fact, many of them fear if you did more lockdowns, if you still don't have good following of the healthcare protocols, the lockdown to some extent would be wasted. And so I think their advice is, be very careful about the reopening, enforce a widespread practice of wearing masks, social distancing. Now, there might be isolated or localized areas in the United States where the virus is become unmanageable, and they're going to have to take far more extreme steps like lockdowns. But I think we're going to have to learn to live with this virus. We're going to have to learn to re-engage in our daily activities, but still control the virus. But widespread mask wearing is essential to that. And I think it's probably the most important practice that maybe has been done unevenly and we've lost an opportunity to recover and control the virus and grow faster.